Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a big one, the 30 Years' War.
Yeah, absolutely. One of Europe's longest, bloodiest conflicts. We're talking 1618 to 1648.
Right, and the sources you've shared really dig into this period. So our mission today is to kind of unpack the core of this war and figure out its lasting impact.
Exactly. It starts, within the Holy Roman Empire, just mostly Germany today. But wow, it doesn't stay contained. It pulls in most of Europe.
And it kicked off as a religious thing, Protestants versus Catholics.
It did, yeah, stemming from the Protestant Reformation. But it pretty quickly became about more than just religion. Power struggles were huge.
Okay, so like political ambitions, grabbing territory, ruling families. I see the Habsburgs and Bourbons mentioned a lot in the sources. They were all mixed up in it.
Oh, definitely. It evolved, became this massive tangle of religious, political, and dynastic aims.
And the spark. The sources mentioned something pretty dramatic in Prague.
Ah, yes. The defenestration of Prague in 1618. That's the
Defenestration.
Right.
Sounds serious.
It was. Protestant nobles literally threw two Catholic imperial officials and their secretary out of a castle window.
Wow. Okay. That would probably escalate things.
You could say that. It basically lit the fuse for decades of conflict.
So this war wasn't just one continuous 30-year battle, right? The sources mention different phases.
Correct. It's generally broken down into 4 phases. Helps to track how things shifted.
Walk us through them briefly.
Sure. First was the Bohemian phase, 1618 to 1625. That's the direct fallout from the defenestration, the initial clash in Bohemia.
Okay. Phase 1.
Then came the Danish phase, 25 to 29. Denmark jumps in, trying to help the Protestants.
How'd that go for them?
Not well. They were defeated, which then leads into the Swedish phase, 1630 to 35.
Now this one, the Swedish phase, feels like a major turning point based on the sources. King Gustavus Adolphus.
Absolutely. Gustavus Adolphus of Sweden, he was a brilliant military commander. His intervention really swung the momentum towards the Protestant side. Big impact.
Okay, so things are shifting. What's the final phase?
That's the Franco-Swedish phase, running from 1635 right up to the end in 48.
Franco-Swedish. So France gets involved. But wait, wasn't France Catholic?
Exactly. That's what's so revealing. You have Catholic France joining forces with Protestant Sweden.
Against who?
Against the Catholic Habsburgs, the rulers of the Holy Roman Empire in Spain.
So politics totally trumped religion there.
Precisely. For France, weakening the Habsburgs, their main rivals, was more important than religious alignment. It really shows this shift towards, state interests driving the conflict.
All this fighting. The human cost must have been immense.
Devastating. The sources point to upwards of 8 million deaths, maybe even more.
8 million! That's almost hard to comprehend for that era.
It is. And it wasn't just battles. Famine, disease. They were rampant. Entire regions, especially in Germany, were just decimated. Some areas lost over half their people.
Just awful. Sounds like one of Europe's worst disasters before the World Wars.
It really was. And all that suffering eventually pushed everyone towards peace, towards negotiation.
Which brings us to the Peace of Westphalia in 1648. The sources frame this as huge, not just ending the war, but changing Europe fundamentally.
Absolutely pivotal.
Yeah.
Its biggest legacy, arguably, is establishing the principle of state sovereignty. Meaning countries, or states, got the right to decide their own affairs, including their official religion, without the Pope or the Holy Roman Emperor telling them what to do. That was revolutionary.
A massive shift from how things were. And didn't it also redraw the map a bit?
It did. The independence of Switzerland and the Netherlands was formally recognized. Borders shifted.
And this laid the groundwork for how countries interact even today.
Yes, essentially. It's seen as the foundation of the modern nation-state system.
Yeah.
Independent states define territories, governments. That whole structure really crystallizes here.
So why should we care about this today, a war from the 1600s?
Well, because it fundamentally changed Europe. It ended the idea that Europe had to be united under one religion or one empire. It's really the birth of modern international relations, concepts like neutrality.
So the basic rules of how countries deal with each other.
A lot of them, yeah. The principles hammered out after so much bloodshed, state sovereignty, the dangers of mixing religion and state power too intensely, they still echo. We still grapple with these ideas and conflicts today.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive. The 30 Years' War, it starts with religion, gets tangled up with politics and power, causes unimaginable suffering.
But ultimately leads to this major turning point, the Peace of Westphalia, which reshapes Europe and kind of sets the stage for the modern world order.
A really complex picture.
Definitely. Which leaves us with a thought for you, our listener, to mull over. Considering the sheer devastation of the war and that huge shift towards state sovereignty, where do you see the echoes of the 30 Years' War playing out in today's world? Especially, in conflicts that have lots of different causes all